Vifale Sevinu Vipana Durajana. Vifale Sevinu Vipana Durajana. Vifale Sevinu Vipana Durajana. Rapas Sukalava Lagire. Pala Sukalava Lagire. Jana Yogana Uchapari Jana Ekate Achipada Dutire. Jana Yogana Uchapari Jana Ekate Achipada Dutire. Kamala Jala Jala Jivana Salamala. Kamala Jala Jala Jivana Salamala. Rahu Hari Pada Nitire. Rahu Hari Pada Nitire. Vana Kirtana Marana Vandana Arate Vana Vasare. Vana Kirtana Marana Vandana Arate Vana Vasare. Ujana Saki Jana Admani Vedana. Ujana Saki Jana Admani Vedana. Govinda Tasabi Vasare. Govinda Tasabi Vasare. Do we have the translation?
O mind, just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, which makes one fearless. Having obtained this rare human birth, cross over this ocean of worldly existence through the ocean of saintly persons. Both in the day and at night, I remain sleepless, suffering the pains of the heat and cold, the wind and the rain. For a fraction of flickering happiness, I have uselessly served wicked and miserly men.
Miserly.
What assurance of real happiness is there in all of one's wealth, youthfulness, sons, and family members? This life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore, you should always serve and worship the divine feet of Lord Hari. It is the desire and great longing of Govindas to engage himself in the 9 processes of bhakti, namely hearing the glories of Lord Hari and chanting these glories, constantly remembering him and offering prayers to him, serving the Lord's lotus feet, serving the Supreme Lord as a servant, worshipping him with flowers and incense and so forth, serving him as a friend and completely offering the Lord one's very self.
Jai Govinda Das. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopijana
Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Jnana Timirandasya Janagana Lakaya Sitam Yena Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manubhishta Sitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Savadantikam My computer, I need. I brought it down here.
Shrirupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Savadvaitam Savadutam Parijana
Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamska Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Rakanta Namosute Tapta Kantana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Sushavanu Krishadevi Mami Hari Priye Panchakalpa Tarivasya Dugai Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
You found it? I came down here with a computer. It had the verse on it, but I'm sure I had the computer. 5.11.7. Yeah. How come it was hidden there in plain sight? Thank you. So you can turn this whichever way you want, because I have it here. So the verse is 5.11.7. Srimad Bhagavatam. The chapter is entitled. What's the name of this chapter?
Jad Bharat instructs King Rahuguna.
Jagbharat.
Instructs King Rahuguna.
Thank you. Tavanayam vyavahara sadadvi. Tavanayam vyavahara sadadvi. Kshetragya shaksho bhavati stula shukshmaha. Kshetragya shaksho bhavati stula shukshmaha. Tasman manolingam ado vedanti. Tasman manolingam ado vedanti. Guna gunatasya parasparasya Guna gunatasya paravarasya Bolo.
Tavanayam vyavahara sadhavi sadavi
Yani Varasavi
Kshetrajna saksho bhavati sthula sukshmaha
Vitragya
Tasman manolingam ado vadanti
Manolinga
Gunagunattvasya paravarasya
तावान् अयं व्यवहार सदाभि क्षेत्रज्ञसाक्षो भवति स्थूल सूक्ष्म तस्मान् मनोलिङ्गम् अधो वदन्ति गुणागुणात्वस्य परावरस्य
Gunarasya Paravarasya
तावानयं व्यवहारः सदाभिः क्षेत्रज्ञसाक्ष्यो भवति शुक्लसूक्ष्मः तस्मान् मनोलिङ्गमधो वदन्ति
Manolinga Madho Vadanti
गुणागुणत्वस्य परावरस्य
Gunagunatvasya Paravarasya Mataji
Tavanayam vyavahara sadave
Anayam Varaha Sadavi
Kshetrajna saksho bhavati sthula sukshmaha
Vitragya
Tasman manolingam ado vadanti
Tasman Manolinga Madho Vadanti Tavan. Until that time. Ayam. This. Vyavahara. The artificial designations of being fat or skinny. Or belonging to the demigods or human beings. Sada. Always. Avi. Manifesting. Kshetrajya. Of the living entity. Sakshya. Testimony. Bhavati. Is. Stula Shukshmaha. Fat and skinny. Tasmat. Therefore. Manaha. The mind. Lingam. The cause. Adaha. This. Vedanti. They say. Gunagunattvasya. Of being absorbed in material qualities. Or devoid of material qualities. Paravasya. And of lower and higher conditions of life. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The mind makes the living entity within this material world wander through different species of life, and thus the living entity experiences mundane affairs in different forms as human beings, demigods, fat persons, skinny persons, and so forth. Learned scholars say that bodily appearances, bondage and liberation are caused by the mind. So, the mind is the big object that we have to control. We means the soul. Of course, we have in human form, we have the advantage of having intelligence which is strong compared to animals. So with that intelligence, then, we should come to the conclusion that the mind must be controlled Otherwise, its tendency is to follow the senses, the 5 senses in the mind. So the senses are very powerful. We want to taste something very nice. We want to hear some nice music. We run to the concert, pay $50, whatever. So like this, we're being controlled by our mind and senses. This is the normal condition in the material world. Everybody is being carried by the mind and senses. But with our intelligence now, that we have developed intelligence in human form, we can inquire, Atata Brahma Jigyasya. Why do I have to suffer? When Sanatana Goswami came to Lord Chaitanya, he asked him 2 things. Who am I and why am I suffering? Who's that? Why am I suffering? Who am I and why am I suffering? So that's a good question. And when we're in the animal life, we can't ask that. But now we have this human form of life, and we have everything favorable. The main favorable thing is we met a pure devotee, and we can learn from his example and his precepts. Now we're going to read his purport. This is the same as Shastra. Prabhupada's purports are wonderful. So we should read Prabhupada's books. Sometimes the devotees would ask a question. Prabhupada would sometimes answer, not always, sometimes he'd, read my books, everything I put there in my books. Why don't you read my books? But I met a boy yesterday at the program. He said, I can't read Prabhupada's books, I don't know why. So I told him, it's because you're a rascal. We have to submit to hearing. The first point is hearing. So we're hearing in the purport for that. We're hearing what Prabhupada is saying. And what Prabhupada is saying is as good as Shastra. Purport. Just as the mind is the cause of bondage, it can also be the cause of liberation. So there we go. Prabhupada is enlightening us. You don't have to remain the victim of your mind. Your mind can become your friend and help you by making plans how to please Guru and Krishna. So it's not that the mind is like the devil or something and it's diabolical. No. It depends on the soul or on the good intelligence. That's why Prabhupada used to say, we're looking for an intelligent class of person who can understand the urgency of this movement, this opportunity. Strike while the iron is hot. So now the iron is hot, everything favorable, you have this human form of life, you have good intelligence, we should take it, push it to the end. The mind is described here as paravara. Para means transcendental and avara means material. When the mind is engaged in the Lord's service, Savaimana Krishna Pararavindayor, it is called para, transcendental. So this is how we come above the mind, by engaging it in Krishna's service. Then it becomes our friend. We use our mind to make plans, how to spread this movement, how to have good association, like how to go to the holy places sometimes. You all have been to Vrindavan and Mayapur, so that it takes the mind to make plans. So again, we don't hate the mind, but we don't give it the initiative. If we give it the initiative, then it's just like giving a 2-year-old child the initiative to decide what should be done in the house. You don't do that. Because the child is just immediately gratifies. Shreyas and prayas. It wants immediate gratification. But the parents will say, no, you have to go to school. I don't want to go to school. You have to go, because in the next life, when you're an adult, then your education will help you. You'll be able to read and write and so on. So this is the work of the intelligence. Without intelligence, the mind will become worse and worse. And so we're looking for intelligent class person. That's what Prabhupada used to tell us. Intelligence was, how do we know if somebody is intelligent? That they're ready to hear the subject. When we meet them on the street or wherever, when we're preaching, the innocent, they're a little innocent. They know there's a problem in the world. Everybody knows there's a problem in the world. Prabhupada calls it a pinprick on the social body. Everybody can see there's something, Pakistan, India, America, Russia. There's always this kind of competition and envy amongst nations. So we want to get a solution. The planning commissions don't work because they're bringing material solutions. The only solution is to get out of the material world, because the material world is made to be problematic. No matter how much we plan and scheme, the next problem is coming. What's the next problem? Air pollution. That's a big garbage. What are we going to do with all the garbage that the human beings are generating? They throw it in the ocean, but this doesn't go away. It washes up on the shore. Miles and miles of garbage this high. So these problems come just by being here in the material world, especially in Kali Yuga. We're not surprised that the next problem is there. But what we want to do is get out of this material world. Then all the problems are solved. In one stroke of Bhakti Yoga, Paravara. Paravara means what again? Para-avara means transcendental, and avara means material. So we want to transcend the material. But most 99.9% of the people think, no, we can make the world a better place, we should work hard. And you can't make the world a better place. Kali Yuga is coming, it's going to get worse. So don't engage in this mundane welfare work. It's not a lasting solution. Okay? When the mind is engaged in the Lord's service, Savaimana, Krishna Parada Vindora. This is called Parada, transcendental. When the mind is engaged in material sense gratification, it's called avara, or material. At the present moment, in our conditioned state, our mind is fully absorbed in material sense gratification. But it can be purified and brought to its original Krishna consciousness by the process of devotional service. So that's our hope. It's not hope against hope. We see that many people in the past have attained success in this way. Bhagavad Gita mentions that. And why not us? We can also become free from this tendency for sense gratification by getting a higher taste. Prahlad describes it as chewing the chewed. If you see a piece of sugar cane that's already been chewed and spit out, you're not attracted to pick it up and try to. You only get the chewing problem. The juice is gone. But similarly, the sense gratification is like that. You try it different. So then they think, oh no, well, we're going to try sense gratification a different way. But it's the same business, chewing the chewed. We have often given the example of Ambarish Maharaj. Savai Mana Krishna Parada Vindaya Vachamsi Vakunta Gunana Varnane. The mind must be controlled in Krishna consciousness. The tongue can be utilized to spread the message of Krishna and glorify the Lord by taking prasada, the remnants of food offered to Krishna. So tongue is one of the big ones that's hard to control. But so Prabhupada is telling you 2 ways we can use the tongue properly. The tongue is giving you trouble, so the solution is not to cut out your tongue. The solution is to, with your intelligence, use the tongue in these 2 ways, vibrating and tasting, in such a way that it'll purify you. So there's nothing bad in itself. Everything is coming from Krishna, so how can something be bad? There's the wrong idea that Christians had. Oh, he's of the devil, he's black. You can ask your Christian friends. Well, we heard that the devil was an angel before. And then he turned against God, became the devil. That's their story. So then you can ask them, well, he turned away from God. Can he turn back to God? They don't have an answer. They don't like that question. But why not? If he has free will to turn away from God, why can't he turn back to God? But no, they like it that this is black. This we hate. So they keep that there. That gives them some solace. And then they feel, he's of the devil and so on. So not like that. Sevan mukhi hi jivado. When one utilizes the tongue in the service of the Lord, the other senses can be purified, can become purified. So tongue is vital. Two things, right? Talking, for japa, what is it? Manasa Vega. So the tongue, we have to control. It's pushing us to talk too much. Even, of course, there might be some lila involved, but we know that there's a story with Jiva Goswami and Sanat Goswami. Jiva Goswami was next generation. He was younger, of course, than Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami is like his uncle. And he came to stay with him. And one scholar came. He wanted to argue with Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami could see, this guy's not worth the time. He said, no, I accept you defeated me. Okay, put it in writing that I defeated you. Okay. Now get out of here. But when he was leaving, Jiva Goswami caught him. They were staying in the same house. And he defeated him. They sat and talked, and he defeated him. But Rupa Goswami didn't like it. I wanted this man out of my house, and you engaged him here, and maybe you should go out, something like that, he told Jiva. So the purport is, it's very delicate, but if you talk too much, you can get in trouble. Everybody knows that. He was taught, I remember Prabhupada in Calcutta, he was on the balcony looking down, and the devotees were there, mostly ladies, and they would start talking. And Prabhupada said, and these were his own disciples, they're like this frog croaking, attracts the snake to swallow it. But we have to come beyond that stage of talking nonsense. Tongue is the most important. Talking, this is our process. Using the tongue to chant Hare Krishna. Rupa Goswami prays for thousands of tongues, so he can hear these two syllables. But in the wrong way, they can become they will become cause of degradation. So talking too much is very easy to do, and we have to be very careful not to do it. I mean, in front of Prabhupada, like when he was preaching or something, if you spoke inappropriately, he would get very upset. When he was preaching, I remember, I have a personal experience. He was preaching to a big man in the Indian Railway. They were giving him one or two big bogie cars to go from Bombay to Kumbh Mela. What year was that? 77? Yeah. So this one is a big one this year, huh? The Kumbh Mela. Anybody been to the Kumbh Mela this year? That's all right. Oh, one person. They say this one is every 150 years or something?
144 years.
So, anyway, Prabhupada was going, and with devotees. He wasn't so happy with the arrangement at the end, but anyway, Prabhupada was going, and so this young man, he was under 40, and Prabhupada was talking to him, but he had a big position in the railway. And Prabhupada was preaching, and I was there also, and there was a lull in the conversation. If you're falling asleep, stand up, please. It's disturbing when I see people sleeping in front of me. I forget what I'm saying. So, there was a lull in the conversation. Prabhupada had been preaching to this man, and I jumped in. And as soon as I started to jump in, Prabhupada looked at me like, you better be saying something good. Because he didn't want anybody to disturb his preaching. But fortunately, I gave one verse. The verse was, Ekam Mulyam, something like Mulyam. Who knows that verse about? You have to be greedy for Krishna. How does the verse go? Just one person. Anyway, when I gave that verse, Prabhupada smiled and he ran with it. So it was okay. He didn't chastise me, he actually appreciated that I provided the verse and gave him more to talk about. But the point I'm making is, Prabhupada took preaching very seriously, and if somebody interrupted his preaching, you'd become like fire. In a minute he'd be like fire. So we have to know when to speak, not to speak. Other times people spoke in front of Prabhupada, he would say, why are you talking this nonsense? And he would get angry. Okay. So again, it's not that we shouldn't speak, but we should speak Krishna Katha. As stated in the Jivado, as stated in the Narada Pancharatra, Sarvapadi Vime Mukta Tvai Patvena Nirmalam. When the mind and senses are purified, one's total existence is purified, and one's designations are also purified. It's a little simple thing. Mind and senses are purified. But we see it's not so easy. But we should be confident we're on the right path. And gradually, step by step, we'll be able to control our mind and senses. Then, no longer considers himself a human being. One no longer considers himself a human being, a demigod, a cat, dog, Hindu, Muslim, and so forth. When the senses and mind are purified, and one is fully engaged in Krishna service, one can be liberated and return home back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada ki. So you want to go back to Godhead? This is the Vaikuntha Express, ISKCON's movement, Srila Prabhupada's movement. Come aboard. I see it. I was just traveling for the last few days throughout your city, and there's so many people. I was impressed how many devotees are there. Coming, new men becoming devotees, and so enthusiastic. And last night they had a program. I forget the little town. Is Nanda here? No. What was the name of the town we were?
Whitefield.
And they have a rented place. It was overpacked. You couldn't fit in there. On a Monday night, so many people were so enthusiastic. The kirtans were going on. So this is a sign that we're having success when we see people are relishing the kirtan. That's one of the, because it's a higher taste, and they'll come back for more and more. That's my experience anyway. I saw that whenever I take part in a good kirtan, I always feel better. I feel peaceful. I feel that I use my energy in the right way. Otherwise, whatever you do, there's always some reluctance or some, if it's not in service of Krishna, you don't feel satisfied. Therefore, they're singing. What are they singing? I can't get no satisfaction, but I try and I try and I try. You never heard that song? It's the Rolling Stones, the most famous song. Wherever they go, people ask them to sing that. Why is that? Because people, they feel a little relief from their dissatisfaction by seeing that everybody else is also dissatisfied. Misery likes company. And so wherever they go, they sing this song, and the crowd sings with them, and they feel better. Yeah, I can't get no satisfaction, but I try and I try and I try. That's the material world. You won't get satisfaction. It's like a fish out of water. No matter what you do, you won't feel satisfied. But the Maya is, no, now you'll be happy. You get this PhD, get this good wife, get this house, get this, then you'll be happy. But it doesn't hold. It runs through your fingers. And in a few days it's finished. How long can you live? Okay, any questions, comments? Let's read the verse once more. Then we'll take a question. The verse is, the mind makes the living entity within the material world wander through different species of life, and thus the living entity experiences mundane affairs in different forms as human being, demigod, fat person, skinny person, and so forth. Learned scholars say that bodily appearance, bondage, and liberation are caused by the mind. Okay? That was good.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj,
we have taught that verse Tate Anukampa to tolerate whatever situations are there as my own karma. And so Maharaj, like in our course of Grihastha life, suppose a certain type of job or certain type of situation we are feeling is not conducive to Krishna consciousness. We want to change the situation with a hope that another situation will give a better facility for Krishna consciousness.
So that's okay.
But at the same time, then we think that changing the situation will not solve the problem. So how to know when to keep suffering and when to actually change the situation?
So that's a practical, on the ground question that you have to consider everything, and sometimes you may make a mistake. But Prabhupada was doing that. He was considering, well, should I go here, should I go there, and making plans? And we all have to go through that to know what Krishna... In other words, the principle is we accept everything favorable for our devotional service. We reject everything unfavorable. But sometimes the nuances are not so easy to... Like Prabhupada spent time in, where was it? The League of Devotees? It didn't turn out to be very productive. So then he changed his plan. And so those things we have to deal with on a practical level. We can get advice from people we respect. But you're going to have to decide, you're the head of the household, what kind of job you're going to do and so on. It's not like absolute that this is... You try your best and leave the result to Krishna. If your intention is genuine to please Krishna, he'll help you. And he'll tell you, this is not the right job, go to look for another. So you have to be open to the ongoing inspiration, revelation coming from the Lord. He's ready. As a devotee, he's eager to help us. Okay, anyone else?
Thank you, Maharaj.
No more questions?
Krishna, one question that when Professor Prabhupada is telling to meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord, Krishna Padara Vindayor. So, like, it's very, I try it, but always it happens that I again and again forget to remember the lotus feet, and again mind goes thinking wrong things and thoughts. So, how to always remember that I have to remember this.
How to remember to remember. Like I say, we try our best and leave the result to Krishna. It's not set in stone. Everything we have to see by time and circumstance. What's the way to go forward? Prabhupada was even, when he was in America, he was sometimes going to the Scindia boat company to see if the ship was going back. He wasn't, he was open to the idea that he couldn't get anything going in America. And so he was seeing the alternative, to go back to India. But then gradually the movement started and then Prabhupada was happy to stay. But we have to be ready to change our plans according to circumstance, time and circumstance, what Krishna... so Krishna made it clear to Prabhupada more and more that there was a potential there in America, and so he stayed and started this movement. But he wasn't 100% confident the whole way through. Like I say, he was going to check when the next boat was going back. So in that way, we keep our options open. Intelligence plays a big part. And then Krishna will also help us. Krishna must have been telling Prabhupada, no, you can stay here. And so he stayed. But he had, even in that poem, he wrote, I don't know, Krishna, why you sent me to this place, which is so full of passion and ignorance. But you must have some reason. Therefore, make me dance, make me dance, make me dance. Okay?
Hare Krishna. While controlling the mind, regarding controlling the mind. So, in my case, I have previous so many vasanas, conditionings. So, So often I try to overcome this, but still that mind comes up that this is there, this you have done like this.
When this kind of question came to Prabhupada, Prabhupada said, everybody has trouble with their mind. And you think, I don't have trouble with my mind? Everybody has. Until you come to the stage of complete transcendental or transcendence, there's going to be trouble with the mind. Mind is the best friend. Read that verse 6:6, right? And the next verse, mind that's controlled becomes your best friend. That's what this verse is pointing out also. So it's not surprising you have to struggle with your mind. Mind is used to being your guru. And the senses are controlling the mind. And so the mind says, yeah, let's go to the discotheque. So above the mind is intelligence. We should accept everything favorable for it. Will it be favorable for you to go to the discotheque? No. So don't do it. Use your intelligence. Been there, done that, seen that. Nobody's happy in this world. So it's a condition we're in. That's what the verse is quite strong on that point, right? That only the mind is causing all this time. Bondage and liberation are all caused by the mind. Yeah. That's all right. I don't know what else to say. One more question is there?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. When we are new in Krishna consciousness, it feels very nice, but as we start taking the process seriously, start chanting, all the garbage of the mind starts coming out.
Yeah.
And then
That's good.
after that, the confusion starts that.
No, well, let's go back to there. That was a question that somebody asked Prabhupada. Prabhupada, since I came to Krishna consciousness, I see all these dirty things are coming out. And Prabhupada said, yes, you have noted the first process, just like when you're cleaning a room, you're sweeping. It looks like more dirt is coming. You didn't see that much dirt, but you go on sweeping. So he said, go on with the process, and gradually the dirty things will come out. So it's not surprising that you're finding, since you became a devotee, how long you been devotee?
2 years.
2 years, so that's a short time. That things are coming out. Dirty heart, since time immemorial. So go on with the cleansing of chanting Hare Krishna, cleaning the heart, and then all these dirty things will gradually come out, because you have to see them in order to make sure they don't come back. So you see, oh, this is a dirty idea. What is it you want to do? You want to exploit something or some person or something. So that you should say, okay, I'm not doing that. So gradual process, and intelligence is very important. It's higher than the mind. So with your intelligence, you should analyze, is this really good for my Krishna consciousness or not? So then it's easier. Go ahead, but I cut you off.
After some, the confusion starts. Am I really progressing or?
Well, therefore we have Guru Sadhu Shastra. You should have, your friends can tell you, or your Guru can tell you that, yes, you're making progress. The easiest way is how you're losing your attraction for greed and lust, and how you're increasing your attraction for service and kirtan and so on. So you can measure from both sides. Am I making progress? Yeah. If you get if you're getting a more attraction to come to class like this, to hear the kirtan and read Prabhupada's books, if that's increasing, then you're on the right path. If you're losing your taste, then you're doing something wrong, because Krishna consciousness is blissful. It will make you happy. We're not hippies, we're happies. So that you have to see in your own heart. What am I doing wrong that I'm not getting more happy? I should be increasing my bliss and reducing my agony of doing the wrong thing and then feeling guilty, and then, you know, everybody has that experience. That's all right?
When we practice Krishna consciousness for some years, and when we go through this, so initially we are very serious, we take the things very...
Initially we're...
Very serious, and we take the things.
That can be there.
Yeah, but over the time when we see that we are doing continuously chanting and things are going on, when the seriousness of the Krishna consciousness goes down, means of the person individual, the urgency to take the shelter of the
Yeah, therefore we should go and retreat sometime. Go to Vrindavan and visit the holy places. Go to some place where the saintly people are more, where some place where you can hear good Krishna Katha every day. You can. Prabhupada sometimes said, for brahmacharya, change is as good as a rest. So change your situation if you're feeling frustrated. You're living in a temple? You're under temple authority? Yeah, so you can ask them, can I go to Mayapur next year or something? It's all right. Here you're in India, it's not a big thing, right? You just get on a train and you can go. And from America, it's difficult.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Very well.
Maharaj, my question is around prasadam. So we have many restaurants, devotee restaurants in Bangalore and other cities as well. Sometimes devotees want to go there and eat there, but cooked by some may not be a devotee. So you still consider that as controlling the tongue kind of prasadam, or what you say about that?
About eating in a devotee restaurant?
Yeah.
It's better than eating in a Kwame restaurant. I mean, it costs money, right? Where's the money coming from? If you're a brahmacharya, you don't have that kind of money. And if you're a grihastha, yeah, okay, you can go sometimes. I don't see the harm. If you and your family want to go out and eat in a devotee restaurant, I don't think anybody will criticize you for that. Will they? Will the devotee? You won't be criticized. What do you do wrong? Either your wife didn't want to cook, so you go to the restaurant. No, but they need a break also. They'll be happy to get a change from there. Okay, anyone else? Yeah.
My question is that sometimes mind gives the thought that if I engage too much in devotion service, then the health will go down and like that.
Well, that's a consideration. Prabhupada was careful about our health. He didn't want us to have ill health. That's a fact. And it can be that the fanatical person first coming, he's neglecting his health. But Prabhupada was always careful about his disciples' health. He would ask him, how are you? Like once we were in London, and Prabhupada asked me, are you getting enough prasadam? And I said, well, Prabhupada, I'm not the cook, so I don't know. In other words, I told him no. And next day, the devotees, the temple president, whatever, Prabhupada told him, and then we started having in the evening some prasadam, which we didn't have before. So Prabhupada managed. What I'm thinking of another. Oh yeah, one time in Vrindavan, I got malaria, and so I was out. We went across the street, Ban Maharaj had an ashram there, and so I was there for 4 or 5 days. Then I came back, and then I had a relapse, and again I left. And then again that was over, I came back. And Prabhupada said, he told me personally, malaria is a very serious disease. You came back too soon. So he was conscious of these things, about our health. Anybody here had malaria? I had it like 5 times. Because it doesn't get out of your blood, you can get it again. I got it once in San Francisco, but it was in my bloods already, right? And then it just manifested. And I went to the doctors. I said, I have malaria. I want to get, what is it, chloroquine? That's what they usually give. And the doctor said, no, we have to test you. I said, I know I have malaria. No, we have to test you. So then 12 hours later, they said, yes, you have malaria. And then they gave me the medicine. They wouldn't give me the medicine unless they tested it. So Prabhupada was a practical person. He wasn't, negligent about your health or your... devotees sometimes ask, well, Prabhupada, can we do exercise? And he said, yeah, young man needs to exercise. He himself was exercising, taking walks every day. So we should keep our body. That verse is there, that we can desire to keep our body fit for serving Krishna. So that means we don't do anything stupid that's going to disturb our body. Once that happened in Europe, there was a devotee who got into fasting. He was fasting and fasting. It was going on for days and days, and the GVC got concerned. He went to him and told him, you shouldn't go on fasting like this too long. Why don't you eat something? And the devotee said, no, when I feel hunger, then I'll eat. 3 days later, he died. Why are you laughing? Somebody dies. And the police came, and they put on a misadventure. The adventure was to fast, but this was a misadventure. He fasted too much. So, what is the value of that? We're fasting so much that we leave our body. No, our body is there to be used in Krishna's service. It's not our body. It belongs to Krishna. We have it on lend. We're borrowing it from Krishna. So we should use it in Krishna's service, and then there's no problem. I mean, for me, practically, my health is good. After 55 years as a devotee, I'm going to be 84 this year. So it's a healthy life. Prabhupada wrote a poem, right? Healthy life as Chaitanya wrought. You know that poem? Where is that poem? Prabhupada wrote a poem glorifying the spiritual master, whatever it was, what year? None of you have heard of that poem? Yeah, it used to be.
Happy days. Better than heaven, sweeter than me. Adore ye all ye happy days.
Adore ye all the happy days. That's right.
Better than heaven, sweeter than me. When my Lord appeared in the Puri.
Yeah. He's talking about Bhaktisiddhanta. When he appeared in Puri, that holy place. And there's a wonderful poem Prabhupada wrote in glorification of his spiritual master. I think it was like 1936 or... When did Srila Bhaktisiddhanta leave?
1937.
Yeah. New Year's Day or something like that. Okay, anything else? Lady side?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna. हरे कृष्ण, धन्यवाद प्रणाम महाराज। आप सैटरडे एकादशी के दिन हार्डलूज सेंटर आए थे हमारा सेंटर में। वहाँ का है ऑल्टर सेवा में हम रहती हूँ। तो आप आने के बाद शायद आपको वैशासन नाम जब क्लीन कर रही थी तो कुछ चीज़ मिला हमें पता नहीं वो आपको है कि नहीं। सो हम आपके पास आके दिखाना चाहती हूँ। क्या मैं आ सकती हूँ वो चीज़ दिखाने के लिए? Hare Krishna, Pranam.
She got something when you came in the Harlu center last time. She got something and she thinks that in your Vyasasana she got something. So she thinks that it belongs to you. Can she show it to you? When you came in the Harlu center.
Which center?
Harlu center. Saturday. Ekadashi.
Yeah.
So in your Vyasasana, she got something.
I left something there.
Yeah. So she wants to show that if it belongs to you.
And one thing I'm missing since I've been is my Achman spoon. Is that what it is? No. Yeah, she can show me. You get it from her. ₹500? You can use it. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. So I'm here all day. If we have some program at noontime or 1 o'clock, do we have anything here during the day? Are we going out on Harinam or something?
It's a working day, so they don't do on Harinam on today. 11:30. There is a brahmachari class at 11:30. 11:30 brahmachari class.
Okay, where?
It's in the ashram, 6th floor.
Okay, I'll be there. Srimad Bhagavatam ki.